Meghan shall no longer be afforded the privilege of residence or entry into the United Kingdom. Under the established regulations, her status will be formally withdrawn. Mrs. Markle must now reckon with the consequences of her conduct toward...
Within the hushed hallways of Buckingham Palace, beneath a London night so black it swallowed the stars and breathed frost, a choice was carved into history. Not with fanfare, not with official statements. It emerged in silence, under oil lamps and ancient rules older than memory. King Charles III, his posture heavy with decades of duty, lowered himself behind a gleaming desk of dark wood. I, Charles, crowned by divine right, sovereign of the United Kingdom, the page declared. Then came the sentence that shattered the calm. Meghan is hereby stripped of all standing, all shelter, all sanctioned presence on British soil. In strict accordance with royal code, her designation is terminated. Mrs. Markle is required to confront the aftermath of her actions against nation and crown. The room did not breathe. Advisors exchanged careful looks, skin drained under the low glow. Beyond the windows, Big Ben marked midnight like an indifferent witness. This wasn't impulse. It was the final act after years of tension, headlines, and a royal institution stretched to its limit. Meghan Markle, once hailed as Windsor's brilliant new jewel, had been recast as unwelcome. Permission erased. Tomorrow darkened. The world had believed the Sussex fracture was healed, or at least papered over. Harry and Meghan building a new life in Montecito appeared beyond reach. Mansions, contracts, glossy philanthropy, streams of cameras and promises. But somewhere beneath the glamour, inside those palace walls, bitterness had been quietly fermenting for years. Charles, the eternal negotiator, had absorbed the blast wave from Oprah, the scorched earth confessions from Spare, the daily artillery of interviews and accusations. But even patience has a breaking point. This time, the crown reached for law instead of sympathy. A rarely cited clause from immigration statute was activated, giving the Home Office authority to bar entry in the name of national interest. Meghan's American passport had once unlocked permanent welcome after her wedding in 2018. That door was now bolted. The message was brutal and simple. Crossing into Britain again would mean detention at passport control. Tickets cancelled. Galas erased. A future amputated. The leak surfaced with sunrise through a terse palace note. The internet detonated. Meghan Van became a global siren. Commentators stammered. But the question roared, why now? What finally burned through the king's restraint? Whispers spoke of a sealed brief, thick with allegations. The Oprah interviews racial charges. Harry's memoir depicting abandonment. A streaming series portraying the institution as frozen in time. And then, the troubling emails, links between Archewell and movements hostile to the monarchy. At 8 sharp, the BBC carried Charles's voice like a verdict. The crown exists to serve and to bind. Anything that fractures it cannot stand. Across the Atlantic, Harry's phone lit up. In Montecito, Meghan went rigid with a coffee halfway to her lips. Their rebellion-built brand began to crack at the seams. Yet the night held more. Deep in the palace's most private rooms, mist crept against the windows like a funeral veil. It was late October 2024, and urgency crackled in the air. Charles summoned a closed war room. No aides, no spin doctors. Only Prince William, Princess, and a small circle of state lawyers. Ancestral stares watched from the walls, as if ready to pass judgment. And Steel and Heels spoke first. Harry's book was bad, but her latest show calling the institution obsolete? That's insurrection dressed as self-care. Charles inclined his head, exhaustion carved into his face. William clenched his jaw. They've turned our wounds into revenue. Spare moved millions off our family's blood. On the table lay the file, 200 pages of receipts. Meghan's 2018 message to her father, splashed by newspapers. Finding freedom stitched together with palace breadcrumbs. The Spotify implosion, where executives muttered the word hustle like a curse. Polling charts, royal favor study in the 60s, Sussex approval plunging underneath 30 after Oprah. Commonwealth nations loosening ties, fingers pointing at their episodes. Charles finally murmured, "This isn't vendetta. It's survival." Under the web of royal protocols and executive privilege, Meghan's residency status slid onto thin ice the moment Harry launched his 2020 court battle over security. But the clause that sealed her fate wasn't financial. It was behavioral. The immigration secretary had already delivered the briefing. Persistent public attacks against the state qualify as harm to national interest. William was first to agree. Harry may return his blood, but she, they said, had become the blueprint of the rebellion, and backed him without hesitation. Your mother survived scandal, she warned. You don't survive sabotage. The room voted as one. By 2 a.m, the language was finalized. Dawn arrived colorless. Charles signed not as a father, but as a monarch, invoking authority through the Privy Council. Her standing dissolved on contact. No review period. No mercy window. Only removal. Banishment from the country she married into. An exile from the land that named her a duchess. In California, Harry paced through rooms worth millions, whispering it had to be an error. Meghan didn't blink. She understood what had happened. This wasn't red tape. It amputated her from Frogmore's walls, from Ascot's hedges, from the idea that her children would grow anchored to British soil. The reaction inside the UK was a civil quake. Tabloids applauded. Front pages declared, good riddance. Others recoiled, calling it a vendetta painted brown. The nation split along fault lines. Yet the numbers whispered what feelings wouldn't. A late 2024 Ipsos survey showed more than 2/3 of Britons favored cutting the Sussex cord. To understand the crash, you rewind to the climb. Rachel Meghan Markle, born August 4, 1981, in Los Angeles, a product of ambition and contradiction. A black mother, Doria Ragland, who worked in healing spaces. A white father, Thomas Markle, who chased light behind cameras. Raised in Windsor Hills, molded at elite schools, pulled early towards stages and scripts. By 19, Northwestern claimed her for theater and global studies. She wanted worlds, not sets. Embassies followed: Argentina, Spain, then back to casting calls and missed chances. Small TVs, smaller roles. And then, in 2011, the spine of it all, Suits. Rachel Zane. A paycheck that didn't blink for 9 seasons. Along the way came speeches, causes, and a lifestyle site that sold the dream. The TIG. Girl power in curated plates and curated pink. Then Toronto. 2016. A blind date that detonated headlines. Harry arrived like a myth. By 2017, they were official. By 2018, the chapel doors opened and the globe leaned in. Nearly 2 billion eyes. A biracial duchess. A fairy tale. A fault line. Pregnancy headlines collided with feud rumors. A baby followed. So did the withdrawal. January 2020. They stepped back and the world guessed wrong about what that meant. Inside palace corridors, resentment simmered. Courtiers spoke of Hollywood expectations colliding with Windsor restraint. Of staff reshuffles. Of friction with Samantha Cohen. Of private fury packaged as reform. Then came Oprah. And after that, nothing stood quiet again. Accusations flew like shrapnel. That Archie was being denied a title. That Meghan's cries for mental help were ignored. Harry's scars, emotional and physical, spilled across pages, from frostbitten nights to bruising family clashes. Then came the docuseries, painting palace life as captivity. To Charles's closest advisors, quoted later by The Telegraph, it wasn't storytelling. It was a cash machine fueled by royal pain. A 9-figure streaming pact. A children's animation that never aired. A music giant cutting the cord after an 8-figure blow. By 2024, fatigue set in. Pollsters in America whispered a cruel verdict. Over half of the public no longer cared. The order itself read like poetry sharpened into law. The Home Office cited conduct prejudicial to the public good from the rulebook's deepest annex. Her passport would keep her from deportation, but not from exile. No jubilees. No candlelit Christmases at Sandringham. A door closed where memory once lived. Then the dossier reached its coldest page. One name iced the room, not by accusation, but by association. Jeffrey Epstein. The entry was surgical. No misconduct alleged. Only proximity. Court filings in the United States had surfaced travel records from 2014, an old charity itinerary, a private jet, years before tiaras and titles. Palace officials stressed it was a single professional engagement, nothing more. But in a house still haunted by Andrew's shadow, optics were poisoned. The memo was blunt. Anything that stains the crown's reflection is unacceptable. Not because of proof, but because of peril. The wider web around Epstein had already consumed titans across finance, film, and politics. Hollywood's elite circles are tight. Rumors are tighter. Investigations by outlets and independent fact-checkers flattened the wilder claims as fiction. Still, in the palace's calculus, even smoke is fire when the public is watching. The file did not damn. It warned. It mapped risk the way monarchies always have by stepping away from sparks before flame spreads. History was the teacher. Distance the scandal. Save the symbol. The machinery that followed was merciless and exact. On October 15, 2024, the Home Secretary set ink to order, invoking the same appendix on national interest. It came on the heels of Harry's own visa drama in America, his admissions echoing through courtrooms, documents unsealed in 2025, igniting debate over celebrity immunity. Meghan's case flipped the script. Her permanent status, granted after the wedding, dissolved without appeal under the old act's sharpest clause. Lawyers rushed for an injunction. Precedent answered first. Rulings carved long ago affirmed the crown's final say at the border. Public interest, the court said, outranks possession. And with that, the ban began its tremor through everything they touched. The shockwaves didn't stop at the channel. They rolled through every corner of their world. In Britain, their charitable arm was frozen out, registration paused, donor taps turned dry, forcing an overhaul from across an ocean. California grew expensive overnight. Without British relief, the tax bite deepened. Filings showed charity income wobble before stabilizing the year after, quieting the whispers of vanished money, but exposing how fragile their machine had become. No more winter reunions by royal fireplaces. The children's ties to Britain became stories told, not seasons lived. Deals that once dangled from London evaporated, gala stages, studio talks, philanthropic showcases, all gone with one signature. The King's pronouncement ricocheted from radios and screens. Reckon with the fallout. Numbers followed like a drumbeat. A late 2025 tracker had Charles surging near 70% approval, while the Sussex brand cratered. Meghan sinking into the low 20s, Harry barely higher. In off-record briefings, William sharpened the narrative. She had engineered the split. Across oceans, the verdict splintered. American outlets praised the series as brave confession. British broadcasts called it lopsided theater. The empire began to hiss and leak. A streaming giant whispered breach over unfinished promises. Residuals melted away. Fashion houses quietly walked back courtships once splashed in glossies. Harry's book bled darker, confessions of collapse. Nights circled by thoughts he barely outran. Therapy doubled. Isolation rewarded no one. The culture war roared louder. Activists rallied behind Meghan, chanting that the punishment carried an ugly undertone. Loyalists toasted editorials that crowned the king decisive. And in the middle of the fire, a rumor flickered, another confession. One more grenade of a book. A final card said to expose secrets room by room. Morning poured through their Montecito windows as if nothing in the world had cracked. Inside, everything had. Harry sagged into a chair, the rejection blazing on his laptop like a verdict. Entry refused. Meghan paced in tight circles, phone crushed to her palm, whispering the same disbelief on a loop. They can't. Malicious, Meghan hissed. But the palace had already crossed its line, and with that, Harry's universe split down the middle. Henry Charles Albert David, born September 15, 1984, had grown up stamped with a single word: second to William's crown, second in line. And then 1997 Diana gone. Grief didn't just scar him, it armored him. He flew combat missions over Afghanistan, built Invictus from broken bodies and stubborn hope in 2014, and learned to move forward by carrying others. Meghan became his anchor in that storm, a relationship welded together by shared wounds. A blind date in 2016 hardened into vows in 2018. A fairy tale on camera, a tremor behind it. When they stepped back in 2020, Charles sent money and a promise, expecting gratitude and restraint. Instead came a book that bled. Spare arrived swinging in 2023, cold bedrooms, hot words, insults that cut like glass and never healed. Palace aides later confided that Charles's pain wasn't political. It was paternal. He felt flayed after footing the bill for a son who turned their home into coffee. And in a monarchy, where silence is currency, speaking is theft, Harry did what sons do when they're cornered. He called his brother. Beg, fix this. The line went down. In private, William burned. The story, he said, had been sold. Their brotherhood, once forged in Diana's shadow and polished by joint causes, lay in splinters. And, severe as winter, was reported to have dismissed Harry as weak in closed meetings. Courtiers whispered that he'd traded duty for defense, crown for comfort. History had seen this script before, from abdications to exiles, love pressed against law until one of them broke. Polls drew the battlefield in numbers. Through spring surveys, Charles slowly climbed while Meghan sank in the public imagination, disapproval sticking to her like tar. Across the ocean, Harry faced his own mirage, America as sanctuary. Court documents surfaced about old confessions. Deportation rumors hissed, then silence. He stayed. Irony sharpened its knife. The husband safe in one country, the wife barred from hers. The strain found Harry's nerves. His confessions darkened. Attendance slipped at Invictus as sponsors hesitated. Calls went unanswered. Reports spoke of Camilla urging peace, of Kate's quiet frost amid her own trials. And the children, Archie and Lilibet, grew older without cousins' footsteps running through hallways. For a soldier who believed in unit cohesion, the collapse of family felt like desertion. There were whispers of repair, of solo missions, of mediated rooms and careful words. Even astrologers sold hope by the month. But for now, Harry stood in the fallout, no longer spared, no longer certain. As the news circled the planet, reactions detonated from London lanes to California canyons. In British pubs, flags lifted and glasses followed. Royalists toasted resolve beneath portraits that never blinked. Finally, some spine-blurred Daily Mail headlines, echoing a sentiment rooted in years of perceived slight. But progressives rallied online #Meghan exiled, trending as The Guardian decried it as a vendetta laced with bias, drawing on Oprah's 2021 racism claims. To elaborate on this global divide, cultural context shaped opinions in distinct ways. In the US, where the Sussexes built their post-royal life, media like CNN praised their Netflix docu-series for exposing institutional flaws, with Sophia Nelson appening it as speaking truth without villainizing. Yet even there, fatigue set in. Gallup's 2024 poll deemed them irrelevant to 55% of Americans. Trump's 2025 administration fueled speculation, with Marker reporting Harry's deportation fears amid visa document releases, flipping scrutiny back on the couple. This reflects how American views often prioritize individual freedom over tradition, contrasting with UK's emphasis on institutional stability. Europe mirrored the split. French outlets like Euronews dismissed the doc as gossip, while German polls showed sympathy for Harry's Diana parallels. In Australia and the Caribbean, where republics gained traction post-2022 Netflix episodes blaming colonialism, the ban was seen as outdated imperialism. Calls to ditch the crown intensified per BBC reports. These reactions demonstrate how colonial histories influence perceptions of the monarchy, with the Sussexes' narratives amplifying debates on relevance in former Commonwealth nations. Public verdict via polls was damning. YouGov's October 2025 tracker revealed 75% UK approval for the ban, with monarchy support at 59%, despite a dip. Ipsos trends showed Charles's handling of family matters divided, 40% positive, 32% negative, but overall royal popularity rose across the board in May 2025, with William at peak favorability. This data illustrates the public's preference for unity, where actions perceived as divisive lead to backlash against the instigators. Archwell bore the brunt. Donors fled, causing a $20 million shortfall before a 2023 rebound of $3 million. As People exclusively reported, debunking delinquency myths. Celebrities polarized. Oprah defended fiercely, but Clooney distanced for variety. Spotify's grifters label lingered, amplifying financial scrutiny. The Backlash's core idea centered on a clash of narratives, Sussexes as truth tellers versus Palace as guardians. Black Americans, per BBC, resonated with the series' race themes, but UK right-wing rage. As The Guardian noted, people's verdicts tilted toward tradition, strengthening the monarchy's position. Meghan's future darkened. Relocation was first to Canada surfaced, but IRS audits on Archer loomed for 2024 filings. William's heir role strengthened, his public duties shining amid the chaos. Charles's reign stabilized with predictions of 2025 reconciliation with Harry sans Meghan via Hindustan Times. The global response solidified the divide, influencing future royal strategies. As the band's dust settled, scrutiny turned to Meghan's pre-royal life, unearthing details that vowed debates. Born Rachel Meghan Markle in 1981, her Los Angeles upbringing blended cultures. Doria's social work roots, Thomas's TV lighting career. Attending Immaculate Heart High School, she honed activism early, protesting the Gulf War at 11. Northwestern University followed, double majoring in theater and international studies, interning at the U.S. Embassy in Buenos Aires. Expanding on her ascent, Meghan's Hollywood grind included guest spots on CSI, New York, and 902W So, earning $50,000 per Pursuits episode as Rachel Zane from 2011-2018. Her blog, The TIG, 2014-2017, showcased feminism and fashion, leading to UN advocacy in 2015. Charity predated royalty, organizing UNICEF fundraisers in 2007, hosting roller discos for Oxford Children's Hospital. These early efforts highlight her commitment to social causes, which later integrated into Archwell's mission. But shadows emerged. Divorces from Trevor Engelson, 2013, after a 2011 marriage, and rumors with chef Corey Vidiello. Staff bullying allegations from 2021 court papers, though dismissed, resurfaced. Epstein whispers, unsubstantiated claims from Ghislaine Maxwell, debunked by fact checks, added fuel, though focused on associations rather than specifics. Factually, co-company reports emphasize that such claims lack evidence, often stemming from alarmist media rather than verified facts. Visa fallout amplified exposure. No UK premieres for projects. Travel bans rippling to Europe. Archwell's delinquent label in 2024, resolved per NBC, highlighted transparency issues. Her strength shone through gap year travels in Chile, waitressing to fund studies. Critics argued her Hollywood past clashed with royal duty, but supporters cited her compassion. A memoir loomed with the palace bracing for revelations about internal dynamics. Meghan's past formed a foundation of ambition now weaponized in public discourse. This exposure revealed layers of resilience from early protest to global advocacy shaping her response to adversity. Fog lifted over London, the monarchy enduring. Charles's decree marked a triumph with approval at 70% for YouGov. William prepared as heir, projecting family unity. Meghan's dawn remained uncertain. Lawsuits and reinvention in the U.S. dominated her path. Harry considered solo returns, focusing on charity. The band's justice sparked debate with Charles's word seen as wise by many.